Hey, good morning, good afternoon, welcome everybody. This is Mr. Jackson, and I'm giving you another math relations live lesson. This happened last week. I got this beautiful recording of a student who's at the school that I'm at, not in my class, but we came up having a great conversation. I always kind of have my stuff just live, and the interaction was beautiful. So I'm gonna let you listen, and he has a question that he posed from a topic that he needed help and assessment with, which is radicals. So as I let y'all tune in and listen to what's going on, I'm gonna go ahead and teach what's gonna be on the backboard, and we're gonna get this started. So if you don't have your pencil, pens, paper ready, or if you have a whiteboard that's available to you, go ahead and get that going, get that out, and tune in and listen.
Yeah, man, I'm the best with this, dog. We gotta get you one of these.
Yo, that's tough. That's tough. Man, there we go. Centron. What, that's a logo or something?
Yeah, these are all different academies.
Academies in math?
That's my.
On what platform? That's your company?
Yeah.
For real? You rich then. You rich then.
Hey, we getting there,
Yo, boy,
man.
is he rich?
We getting there, man.
You
We
rich?
getting there.
You getting there?
We getting there.
That's good. My dad.
see this one?
Oh, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, I think this is the last.
Yo, students be using it?
Yeah. So I just want to bring it here. So y'all just did y'all testing. So finish on strong.
Oh, I just did my chapter 5 test.
Okay, yeah, y'all early.
I got an 80 on my last one, chapter 4.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that bad. Yeah.
What do you say you struggle with? What's
Struggle?
that you find a hard time with the algebra?
The test that we just did just now,
Systems of equations and stuff? Polynomials?
no, system equation is easy. But it's the is it called radicals or something?
Oh,
I think that's it.
like prime factorization.
No, getting the prime factorization is easy. But like, I seen a question, like input, like the radicals was in parentheses, and you had to multiply them.
Oh, to get outside is radical? Okay.
I did not understand that. That was a little hard for me. Yeah. Other than that, I'm doing pretty good. She just gotta get some better teaching strategies. Is this teacher, his name is Mr. Gonzalez, I'm going to him for next year for
Shout out Ms. Gonzalez.
geometry. He teaches good. He teaches what's in the book. What's in the book, I feel, helps the students. Helps the students a lot. Like, they be giving a lot of examples and stuff. What she be teaching us?
All right, cool. So a lot of examples, like what's inside the book. So he needed help with radicals, and we're focusing on the radicals that's inside of our parentheses. So I'm about to go to the board. I'm about to break you down with one. This method I'm sharing with you is from the Academy of CENTRONS. So I'm going to show you how this method goes. And here we go. So let's go ahead and slide to the left. Slide to the right. Crisscross. Crisscross. All right, let's go right here, right in front. Y'all can see. Perfect. All right, so we got, for the sake of this problem here, we are doing 3 Can you see that? I think so. This is 3 parentheses radical 8x. So for my little man that was asking or needed some help and assistance with this, I'm gonna give you this and I'm gonna break it down to you. The CENTRONS method. So we still got math relation up top. CENTRONS. Might have a little glare because of the sun, but I think we're good right here. All right, so I'm over here teaching y'all like Wizard Kelly. Go ahead and take a seat with it. I like this. Stand it up. All right, enough having fun. So 3 parentheses, so we're multiplying this by radical ax. The first thing we need to do is center our expression. So when I say that, what we're doing is we need to know what part of the problem is asking for our attention. Focus right here. So we're going to put a note here. What part of the problem is asking for our attention? What's asking for our attention? Immediately, we know that's going to be inside the parentheses. So what's inside our parentheses? We got 8 times x. Anything that's inside of a radical, you want to necessarily look at doing the square root. So now we're focusing on, okay, what is trapped inside the square root? What's trapped inside the square root? Trapped inside the square root, we know we just answer that 8 radical x. I can't do anything to my 3, so don't touch that. Even though you might be used to doing the distributive property, we're not distributing 3 to x here. 8 is a whole number, and it's even, which is perfect. X is a variable, so attaching that with a coefficient, we're just going to leave that alone. What we're going to do now is we're looking at holding our boundaries. So what's going to be our boundaries here? We need to know 3 is not being touched, x is not being touched. Our focus is on this 8. So in that audio, I talked to the student, I mentioned about the prime factorization. Prime factorization, I need to know what numbers multiply to give me this 8. 4 and 2. The only pair out of this is 4. 4 is a perfect square. 4 is going to allow us, when I say perfect square, you can go ahead and put a box in that. And you say, okay, what 2 numbers multiply together to give me 4? I know that's my pairs of 2's here. So what I'm going to do, I leave these 2 2's alone, right? Perfect square is my focus, so I let my focus be on my 4. I can take this outside now. I got a pair, I got a date. When you have a date, you need to go somewhere, right? I need to take you out, I want to get to know you. So I'm taking my 4 outside of my parentheses. And I'm going to let this be 4. I'm leaving 2 back inside our radical with my x. So now this 8x is now transitioned to 4 parentheses 2x. 4 parentheses 2x here. Now with my 4, I can put my radical now for it to still be inside, because I know 4 had to be multiplied with my 2, which is going to give me my 8. So I bring this down together now, and I say, okay, what's my perfect square? Here's what I circled out here for my perfect square from my 4. I get a pair of 2's. So now, from my date, we looking to have another one, right? She enjoyed my company. She's like, man, you're smart. You're intelligent. You're beautiful, right? What's that from the Notebook, the 3? All right, let me stop carrying myself away. But sticking up onto this point right here. Perfect square with our 4. Leave this inside of our radical. I got my 2's paired out. You probably going back to say, what was my boundaries, right? Before I do anything, let's stay with the analogy of the date. We had a great time, enjoyed our company. Now we're looking to have a second date, but boundaries in play. You're not coming back to my house. You're not getting in my bed. You know what I'm saying? So we put those 2 together, and I say, you know what? I enjoyed her, she enjoyed me. We're gonna pair ourselves up for another date. So I'm like, I'm gonna let me look at my boundaries again. Let me go back. So my three, I get to discuss this information with my parents, or my dog. I'm like, I think I like this woman, I think she's better than the last one. And they're like, all right, what you like about her? So I bring different things I want to be able to discuss, right? So I found two things that I found in common from when I had my square root, my four. And I'm saying, you know what? Since I got these outside, I'm gonna pair this up with my three. Since I got a pair, and we're bringing this back up to what we have with our distributive aspect, I take my pairs of twos. So now I'm gonna do 2 multiplied by 3. These two have now left my radical. What's still inside my radical here is my radical 2x. So I can leave it like this. And now I have 3 times 2, which gives me 6. 2x. I don't know if you can really see that. So these are my answers right here. We started back out, give you a little recap. Started back out when we looked at from 8. 8 can be broken down to 4 and 2. 2 can't be factored any further. 4 is a perfect square with 2 and 2. So I'm circling my 2 pairs, right? Before I do anything there, let's rewrite our problem. So it's 4 times 2, which is still paired with our x, but it's inside of parentheses, which is this step right here. For me to now take the square root of a number, I take out my 4. 4 is a perfect square with amongst 2 times 2. So now I can bring these outside in my parentheses. 2 is now going to be matched up with my 3, where I'm multiplying, I'm distributing. So 3 times 2, we end up with 6. I leave my 2x still inside. Final answer is 6 radical 2x. You like those apples, huh? They were good. You ready for some new ones? Okay, let's get some new ones. But when I say CENTRONS method, I'm gonna break this down for what it all comes out to if I say the acronyms in this. So CENTRONS, I might need to erase all this. But as you're listening to me, captions will be able to come to the board. CENTRONS. So C is center the expression. This is an expression. An expression is different from an equation because an equation is going to say this is equal to something. Since there's no equal sign, this is solely just an expression. So we're centering it. That's for C. Our E is we're examining what's inside. So I ask that question, what's asking for our attention? What's trapped inside our square root? So we're examining what's inside. Our inside aspect is our radical 8x. Name the perfect square. We took out the prime factorization of 8x, where we know it was 4 times 2. The perfect square out of that is 4. 4 is the perfect square amongst 2 itself. Cool. Now I need to take out my stability there, right? So 4 is now over here. It's what keeps our problem stable from a radical 8x. So we have 4 times radical 2x. Respect boundaries. Keep 3 here, our parentheses amongst this all. As I respect the boundaries, something is either being invited in or invited out. What's being invited out? The square root of 4 is 2. So this is where I get my second date analogy, right? So I take my 2's out and I pair it amongst my 3. And here's where we go. I operate last. I don't need to distribute my 3. I operate what's being last. So this is 3 multiplied by 2, which gives us 6. I leave everything else as is. 6 parentheses radical 2x. So here, There's no rushing. This is where our N stands for. Only simplify when allowed. This is where we end up at. So if you like that, let's go ahead and let's do another problem. And as I am going to go ahead and clear this out, make sure you got this written down. If you want to go back and listen to what we've been discussing, do so, and I'm going to get some more white out. Let me go ahead and get y'all some music. I like to play my playlist. So for those who are following along on the Math Relation YouTube, you got my full name. It's Mr. Jackson. But as I was in the classroom with you all, teacher loved to say, Paul Jackson the second, present, or president. Tough. So I'm gonna go ahead, we're gonna do two things. I'm gonna write out maybe 3 problems here. We're gonna do, just like my friend said, right, we need examples. The examples, I'm not looking here to try to confuse you. We're just gonna follow the same pattern and the same methods. We're following everything where it keeps the same stability amongst our rules. I kept these questions here because I want you to follow the same method. What's asking for our attention and what's trapped inside our square root. So, the first problem we're gonna write is gonna be 4. We got 4 radical 20y. 4 radical 20y. Alright. Next one we're gonna have is 5 12x. And let's go with, ooh, yeah, let's go to the challenge one. All right, so we got 4 parentheses radical 20y, 5 parentheses radical 12x, 2 parentheses radical 50y squared. I'm gonna go knock them out one by one. So, same steps. For our 4, radical 20y, 20, you got a couple ways you can do the prime factorization of it. So let's list them out because we need to be very intentional with our multiplication. All your factors of 20 Easy, you can go 20 times 1. But we need numbers that are going to be factorable. So let's move to the second one. 20 is an even number. 2 goes in everything even. 2 times 10. 2 times 10 would be perfect because then I can break 10 down. 10 is the factorization of 5 and 2. So that means I have 2 pairs of 2s and I have 1 pair of 5. So I can write that one down. 2 and 10. Break down 10 as 2 and 5. So even though the glare, maybe the markers need to be a little stronger, on your papers, make sure you got 2 and 10. That's one set, but there's more. Another number that's also a factorable of 20 is 4 and 5. And 4 is a prime factorization, right? Or a square root of 2 and 2. So you still get that same buddy pair that we did here. But you can also get that perfect square that we had before, where you can go about it as 4 parentheses 4 radical 5y. So either setup, even when we had our 2 2's here, pairs of 2's, 2 times 2, we know that is 4, right? So you're still going to end up with that result of 4 parentheses 4 radical 5x. Take your square root of your 4, right? And 4 is going to let you be paired up with your 5y. I take that square root now. We should have 2. So now I got my pairs of 2. I got my 4 lift out. 2 times 4. This is going to give you 8. And now you have 8, 5y. 8, 5y. Let's see if we start picking up on a pattern again. So once again, what was asking for our attention focuses specifically what's on inside our parentheses. Inside our parentheses, we got radical 20y. We need to break down that 20. 20 can bust down to 2 and 10 or 4 and 5. We know that 4 is a perfect square. 4 is going to help us come outside of where we were distributed from. So we'll have 4 parentheses 5y. Now we can take the square root of our 4, where we get a pairs of 2's. Take our 2's out, and we center everything else. So now this would be 4 times 2. So on the 4 that's outside, 4 times 2 gives us 8. We leave radical 5y inside, so you get 8 radical 5y. So let's do the same thing now, right here with our 5 and 12. 12, you got 2 times 6, and you also got 4 times 3. So I want you all to try one of those 2, just like how we did 2 and 10 and 4 and 5. Which one's the best pairing, 2 and 6 or 4 and 3? Remember, we're looking for perfect squares. So even if you break it down with our 2 and 6, eventually you're gonna have to break down 6. But if you like to do the other option, 4 and 3, you'll find this pattern we've had recently where there's prime factorizations of 4. So we get that square root there. So let's rewrite our problem. 5 break down your 4. Multiply this now by your 5. Boom. Can't really see it. 10 And multiply that now by your radical 3x. 10 times that by your radical 3x. And now let's go to our big one. Here, the only difference now, you're doing the same pattern, the same routine we've been going on. However, there is a perfect square amongst our variable. Before we had y by itself, x by itself. Now we have y to the second power. So let's break that down. 50 is perfect. You can start 50 off by utilizing just simply dividing it by even number, which is always 2. 2 times 25. Perfect, because we should know our square roots. We know that 5 times 5 is going to give you 25. So 25 is now our perfect square here. But y squared, the difference now, when you have a variable raised to the second power, a variable is only shown and it's added through its exponents as the result of the same variable being multiplied by the same number of quantities that variable is represented by. So to break that down in its most simplest term, it's the same y to the second power. The only way you have y to the second power is if you did y times y. So that gives you a total of 2 y's. So here we will have a pair. And the best thing about this, similar to our dates, radicals is like we trying to get all the single people together. So we put a ministry out. 25, we know is a perfect square with our 5's. Y's is a perfect square amongst y by itself. So what's the pattern that we've done here when we circled something that now has a pair, or it's a date, right? Are they still inside the radical? If you single, you single. But if you in a relationship, you are in a relationship. So we got relationships. Relationships are no longer going to be inside of a radical because we got the single people finally with their forever one, you know, until they break that up. But I digress. If I just solely look at this shown here, right? I have my 4, my 3's left out. Over here I got my 25 and my y both circled. And my 2's left out. So guess who's going to be still inside our radical? 2. So we're going to rewrite this as 2 parentheses 25y radical 2. I know my 25 is broken down into 5 and 5. Still got my y here. I can keep it here as like squared. Square this out. I'm gonna have a pair of 5's. I got one pair of my y's. So now this is gonna become 2 from my outside. I'm taking my 2 pairs, now they're leaving it. 2 times 5 times y. And then this is gonna be parentheses, radical 2. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times y, make it like a peanut butter jelly sandwich. Come together, 10y, 10y. So now you have 10y, radical 2. And there you go. So for our friend who shared us his struggles and help from the test that they just took, we knocked you down, my guy. I got you covered. This is under the CENTRONS Academy, tuning you out to later. And as we checking out, we are a couple hours away from the big dance That is the national championship. That's amongst the University of Miami and Indiana. I'm a native of Miami, literally live down the street. Ironically, though, played in the Orange Bowl against Miami with not the U, but the W, so Wisconsin. So get your thoughts. Who you think's gonna win? I'll be down there hopefully, and give you some content in the show. So that's just me adding a little extra. Read all about it, but enjoy this practice. If you need some more help in assignments, make sure you are following and you go through math relation. I'm your instructor, Mr. Jackson, and we're here to just make learning simple. Make math make sense again. See ya.